Just give me one moment. Anyways, I don't know what I want anymore. And at the beginning of this summer, had you asked me, what do you want? I would have been able to answer that question so clearly. And this summer has just really changed everything for me. Um, for my astrocartography people, I moved from my Jupiter descendant line to my Uranus MC line for 3 months. And now I feel lost. And so I just wanted to have a chat about goals and greatness. And because, as a child of an immigrant, as a first generation American, greatness and success was the goal. You're either a doctor, engineer, or a lawyer. And I am none of those things. My sister is the lawyer, my brother is the engineer. I was supposed to be the doctor. This was heavily programmed to me as a child, and to the point where I thought it was something that I wanted. And really, it was just a means of attaining my father's approval. And so I feverishly rejected that when I started coming into my own awareness and coming into my own mind, because as a child I was programmed and attuned to my father's nervous system and belief system. I wasn't encouraged to have my own beliefs. I was encouraged to adopt the beliefs of the people around me. And that's exactly what happened. I was a very well trained child. And so when I started coming into my own beliefs and my own awareness, I just completely rebelled and rejected all of it. And in the pursuit of happiness, that's a great title for this video. In the pursuit of happiness and in the pursuit of greatness, I thought I found my tribe. I thought I found my community. And then that whole shit fell apart. So, what do you do when you don't belong anywhere? Where do you go when you don't know where to go? And to add to that, I recently wrote an article because for the first time in 20 years, I live in a Black neighborhood. And the survival mode, like I can see the survival mode inside of them and how they act, and them as in the people around me. And so living in a Black neighborhood for the first time in 20 years showed me um, that survival mode is all based in the principle that you're not safe, and that at any moment it could all fall apart and you can lose everything. So you have to feverishly and relentlessly protect everything that you've built for yourself. And I started analyzing, okay, where am I safe? Hey y'all, where in the world is safe? And if nowhere in the world is safe, who do I have to become? I'm getting emotional. Who do I have to become in a world that is unsafe? Because if everywhere on the planet has its um, downfalls and its challenges, then who do I have to become in order to live in a world like this, and to live amongst people who live in fear every single day? And as a result of living around these people, I feel that I'm now questioning everything I thought I wanted. And so today I just wanted to talk about, what happens when you don't know what you want, or you just don't want anything anymore. Yeah, I'm okay. I just trying to well, figure it out. Shit. And is that what life is? In the last video that I was talking about what is the point of living? Like, where's the constant? Because If you place your whole point of living in happiness, you're never going to feel satisfied because that happiness comes and goes. And so what is the point? What are we striving towards? Is striving even the goal? Like what the fuck are we doing here? And that uncertainty is so deeply embedded in this process that I'm just currently searching for some a constant. Like if everything is uncertain day to day, our food, look at what's happening to our food in the industrial food system, and all the things that we're now revealing, that are now being revealed about where our food comes from. If everything day to day, your water, your food, your clothes are fucking plastic, like all these other things, where is the constant? Where is, what can I rely on? What in this world can I actually rely on? And if I can't rely on anything or anybody, who do I have to become in order to live in this reality? And so all of these questions have just halted me. Like 3 months ago, I was so certain about where I was going, what I was doing, what I was going after. And now all of that feels like I was working on a puzzle. It feels like I'm working on an 800-piece puzzle and someone came and just flipped the table. And it's like all of that, what was that for? And now what do I do? Um, and I was just listening to an interview by Kanye West, and he's talking about basically not living in fear, and how his parents programmed him to be great and to not fear anything. And when you look at Kanye West, you see this certain, symbol, but he wasn't always Kanye West. He was a little boy at one point in time. He was a person, just a regular everyday person. And so it's easy to hear him, Kanye West of all people, talk about greatness and feel so far removed from that. Like, of course, Kanye West can talk about greatness. He's Kanye West, but he wasn't always that. And so I'm listening to this interview, and I'm thinking like, okay, like what is it that I want to be known for? What is it that where can I find meaning in my life? And the word that came up was satisfaction, because in this world where hustle culture and all of these people are talking about greatness, and how to achieve and how to gain attention and all these things, what happened to just ordinary satisfaction? Like, in a regular, ordinary life is no longer good enough. Like, it's not. What happened to satisfaction? What happened to ordinary? What happened to just contentment? Is no longer content. Like, contentment is no longer enough. And what do you do when you're navigating a world like this? And so I'm pondering on this word, satisfaction, satisfaction. Like, where is my satisfaction? And yeah, that's why I'm making this live, just to talk it out loud. I don't really know what is going to come out of this conversation that I'm having with myself, but um where is the constant? What can I be satisfied with? Because we're never satisfied with our body. We're never satisfied with our bank accounts, and never satisfied with our work. So like, where is it? Where does satisfaction live in a world of ambition? And man, what do you do? what do you do? What do you do when it all feels too big? And I really love going to the ocean because it makes me feel small, and it reminds me that there is something greater than me. You know, I grew up Christian, and I had this idea of what I thought God was, just to come into my own awareness and my own belief systems to find out that God is not what I thought it was, or what I believe God to be isn't what I was told to believe God was. And so, you know, throughout the last 10 years, I've been searching for God. I've been searching for something bigger than me. And the only like true evidence that I have found of something greater than me that I can regularly visit, I can touch it, I can taste it, I can feel it, is the ocean or like a mountain. And that's why I love hiking. I love nature. I love trees because it reminds me that I'm small. And there's a comfort in that. There's a comfort in not having to be the greatest thing on the block. There is a comfort in knowing that there is something greater than you. And I can't really articulate, you know, why there's a smallness, there's a comfort in the smallness. I guess because it it also makes my problems small. You know, the ocean makes me feel small, a mountain makes me feel small, but it also makes my problems feel small. So maybe that's where the comfort comes from. And so I just, and even that, the I'm a very woo woo spiritual person. Done quite a bit of psychedelics, and so that word I has come into question quite a bit. What is I? Like, who the fuck is that? And I've read a lot of like all the greats, Eckhart Tolle, like all the mystical greats, and they all agree that I don't exist, that I is an illusion. The idea of a separate self is not actually real, that we are actually all God in drag, as Ram Dass would call it. And I recently did a 7 gram mushroom journey. And in that journey, I was shown what a boundary is. And the purpose of a boundary is not to keep other people away, it's to keep you inside. And so, just like our skin, your skin is a boundary between you and your body and the outside world. And your skin is a protection for you, it's not a defense mechanism against others. And so, you know, in this explanation of boundaries, all boundaries dissolved, and I was everything. There was no longer any separation between me and anything else, another person, a tree, my tent that I was inside of. And in that realization, in the dissolving of the boundaries, it was it was this realization that I don't need to try so hard to protect myself. And that's a crazy thing for a woman to say in 2026. Um, but the boundaries are I'm losing my point here because I need to write down my mushroom journey so that I can like have a fully thought out thing. But thank you for your patience in allowing me to think this out live on camera. Um, as long as I have good boundaries with myself, I am able to safely operate in this world. And I always thought I have to have good boundaries with other people, but that actually comes secondary. What must come first is boundaries with yourself and within yourself. And the only way to know where your boundaries are is to be present within your body, because your body is a tool that will communicate to you when you've crossed the boundary. But if you're constantly ignoring the signals that your body is telling you, that's how you end up in situations where it's like, man, this sucks. Like, this is not what I wanted it to be. This is not what I hoped it to be or expected it to be. And I don't want to be here. But if every time you've ever been in a situation like that, if you look back, your body was telling you, hey, ooh, this kind of felt icky. And instead of exploring the ickiness, we push through and we hustle and we strive and we chase these invisible goals. We chase these invisible goals when your body was communicating, hey, you're going the wrong way, you're going the wrong way, you're going the wrong way. You didn't like that. You didn't like that. That didn't feel safe. That felt horrible actually. And so as I examined the boundaries within myself during this mushroom journey, I I realized that I'm ignoring the one thing that can tell me if I'm walking towards safety or danger. And if you aren't present in your body and present with what's your the cues, you're not going to know if you're walking towards safety or danger. And the body is so wise, man. Whoever built this shit was smart. Um yeah. And so on this journey of trying to figure out, what do I want? Like, where am I going? What am I doing? Who am I being? Who am I becoming? I'm really paying attention more to my body and what my body feels safe in, and what to do when you don't feel safe. Like, what happens when something happens and it's like, ooh, this is icky and I really didn't like this. um what do you do? How do you navigate this? How do you navigate an icky situation with someone who doesn't talk about their feelings or doesn't have boundaries with themselves, or you know what I'm saying? So I do not claim to have anything figured out. I am actively figuring this shit out. And I thought I would just come on here for a few minutes and share. There's a relief in admitting that I don't know what to do and that I don't know. Like, there is such a relief in admitting that I don't know. And I started a point and forgot about it. Thank you for bringing me back. Going back to the I, and who is the I that is speaking? And so when I say I don't know, who is even saying I? Who is the I that is speaking? And so, man, I could get into that. I could talk about that kind of stuff for hours, but it's kind of difficult to talk without like someone talking back to me. But I'll try. Who is the I that is speaking? Who is the I that doesn't know what they want? And does that I even have free will? Like, does that I even get a say so? Um, I don't know. You know, I've thought long and hard about free will versus fate. And the only answer I could come up with yes and. Do I have free will? Yes, and fate is also a thing. We have many, many examples in the world of fate, like these chance happenings that are so heavily intertwined that it almost seems like there has to be a higher power that orchestrated this, because how else is that possible? You know, we have many examples of that. And so who is the I that doesn't know what they want? And is there something or someone within here that knows? And am I spending time with that? How much time are you spending with the one who knows? Is there is there the one who knows? And if there is, how much time are you spending with that thing? And if there is, if there's nothing that knows, if there is no one or nothing that knows, what do you do now? We just out here living on vibes and Doritos? Like, what do you do when you feel disconnected from the one who knows? I'm currently reading The Woman Who Runs with Wolves. And, you know, in the first story, she introduces the one who knows. And this is intuition. And intuition is something that is supposed to be passed down to you from your mother. But if you are like me, who had an absent mother and a sick mother who did not pass down intuition, you know, how do you navigate connecting to the one who knows? Oh, this is good. This is taking a turn. I'm liking this. The one who knows. Because the reason why it feels good is because it is in the seeking. The seeking itself is the connection. I really love, really love Rumi. And he has this poem. Oh, do I have that book? It's somewhere. He has this poem where he said, it's basically saying every time you cry out for God, your cry out is God's response. Like you're seeking of God is God communing with you. And so it feels really good. That feels really good. It feels really good to seek the one who knows, because in the seeking, in the turning towards it, in turning towards the light, um and turning towards the knowing, there is a relief there. And it's just like, you know, if you've ever watched a baby try to find its mother's nipple, um it is the seeking of the thing, the turning of the head, turning towards the thing is the point. Ooh, am I answering my own question? Is seeking the point? Is the journey the point? Like, what is the point of living? If is it the journey? Is it the seeking? It's not the striving, because that don't feel good. Constantly striving, that is just exhausting. That's where burnout comes from. It's striving. But seeking doesn't feel like this. Seeking feels like more like swimming. Striving feels like work, and it feels like mm, mm. God. I'm glad I don't take myself too seriously. And so, but seeking doesn't feel like that. Seeking feels more open. Seeking has this scent of possibility. Seeking has this scent of miracle, of anything can happen. Um, Seeking has this fragrance of curiosity that striving doesn't have. Oh, this is good. Oh, this is good. Because striving has a definitive goal. You are striving towards something. And when you get there, you're supposed to be complete. But as every successful person, even Kanye West says, you get there and you realize that the goal was a empty box. It was nothing. There was the thing that you were chasing was never there. You are chasing a carrot that is plastic. And so I think that's why striving doesn't feel good. Striving doesn't feel good. Ambition doesn't feel good. But seeking, now that got something on it. There's something about seeking because when you're not seeking for something specific, it just feels like an open road. Y'all know that feeling when you get on the highway, you just started your road trip, you're on the highway, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, completely empty, and it's just you and the road. That is what seeking feels like to me. It feels more open, it feels vast, and even, ooh, that's good too, because in the seeking is also kind of like this admitting that you don't even know what you're necessarily searching for. You're you're looking for something, but you don't necessarily know what you're searching for. You can put some vague term like truth or love or whatever, but really you don't know. And that's why you're looking for it, because you don't know. And like I was saying earlier, there's that relief of admitting that I don't know. Um, because to claim I know feels like it feels too definitive. It feels too it doesn't account for miracles. It doesn't account for things that I'm not even able to fathom. So it's and I'm debating in my mind of like, damn, if I claim I don't know, am I relinquishing my agency? Like, by claiming I don't know, am I cutting off or pinching myself off from the one who does know? I don't know. But seeking the one who does know, there's an air of hope in that. And hope is huge, man. Hope is huge. Like, it is, I wouldn't argue to say hope is one of the most important aspects of a human journey, because without it, you freeze. If I don't, without hope, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. Um, without hope is like the foundational element of everything, even seeking, even striving, even ambition, even greatness. It is the hope, is the fuel that drives us. Hmm. But is hope a fantasy? Is hope pointless? Is it just a drug, another drug in a pretty package? Because without it, you would not move. You couldn't move. Where would you go? And to go back to the argument of free will, like if I don't have free will and all of this is fated, what's the point of hope? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen anyway. So why do I need to hope for anything? If everything is fated, there's no point in hoping. And I think that's where a lot of the law of detachment people, you know, that's what they're arguing is, you know, there's no point in being attached to anything because it's all an illusion. And so when hope is removed from the equation, you have no choice but to surrender to what life brings your way. And is that surrender a relinquishing of agency, a relinquishing, I don't want to say control, but man, is hope just a control mechanism, a mechanism for control? If everything in my life is already written and nothing I do would ever change what is meant for me, then hope is not needed. And when hope is removed from the equation, you must surrender to whatever life brings to you because it is under the assumption that everything is fated. And so, if I don't need hope, where does my fuel for movement come from? If there's nothing to strive for because it's all going to be brought to you, if there's nothing to hope for because it's impossible for you to miss what's meant for you, and if all of that equals surrender, I really like Abraham Hicks. They have this phrase that says, giving up control. Giving up control is not relinquishing your power, it's accepting your ultimate power. And so, by the human I as the human giving up control, you then accept the ultimate power of being an extension of all that there is. You are an extension of God, and your power now comes from operating as a whole unified being that does not see itself as separate from this experience or separate from another person. It's all the same thing, just currently being viewed from this perspective. And so if I am God and God is me, and there's no need to try to control it, which is what hope is for. Hope is the fuel that gets you out of bed, and hope is the thing that fuels your willpower. But if there's no need for me to exert willpower, if I could, if it's all supposed to be fated and brought to me, then what is there left for me to do? I guess is the point that I'm trying to get to. What is left for me to do if it's all supposed to be fated? I guess the answer that comes to mind is do whatever you want. Like literally, like, and not do whatever you want, only do what you want. Because if it's all fated and I'm being essentially micromanaged by a nebulous mystic god thingy, an energetic invisible force, if I'm being micromanaged by the universe, it would only make sense to only do what I want to do and to go where I want to go. Because if I'm being micromanaged by God or micromanaged by the universe, there's no middleman. No one can tell me what my guidance system is telling me because it's a direct line. It's a direct communication. There is no one in the middle communicating between us. And so I guess it all comes back to, again, what do I want? You know? What do I want? Because there's so many times where I got what I thought I wanted and it wasn't what I wanted. I have been wrong many times. And there are some things that I wanted that I'm so glad never happened after the fact. Very glad in certain circumstances that I did not get what I wanted. And so, how does one figure out what I want? And I think in a microcosm, it's figuring out small ones. Like right now, I'm hungry. I want food. I want to go eat breakfast. And taking these micro moments, these micro desires as evidence of being led. And so instead of chasing some macro desire, like, oh, I want $100 million, I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to do that. Okay. But I do know how to go in the kitchen and make myself a bowl of oatmeal. I know how to do that. And so I guess that's my plan, is just right now follow my micro desires. I don't know what I want tomorrow, but I know what I want right now. And trusting that focusing on fulfilling what I want right now will lead me to the macro desire that I can't even articulate right now. A macro desire I do have is to go live on the beach for a few months. I would really love to just slow down. I love beach towns, even though they're touristy, which is annoying. I love beach towns because everything is slower, um, especially in more like Caribbean areas. Um, Life is slower. And I would really love to just take a beat, sit on the beach, swim, smell the salt water, and just commune with nature without striving towards a number in my bank account. Like, just exist. All right. I've yapped long enough. I feel empty. Thank you for being here. Um, I'm about to go eat. I got some really tasty oranges that I'm very excited to go eat. And then I might make what I might make oatmeal, I might make grits, I might make an omelet. I'm gonna go figure that out. Okay, bye.